We all know that SSO within the past few years isn't what it was back then, both positively and negatively. As each day passes with more videos speaking up on SSO's bullshit, so has the increased rise of the forsaken white knights of this community that tear down others for having a different opinion than them. Today, we'll be discussing these comments that have created multiple battles and reveal the actions and behaviors people have taken. This will be an educational series as we analyze these comments and give feedback on how the situation could have been better, how to deal with white knights, and of course, what could white knights do better to not come off as an asshole or a piece of shit. So that way, instead of having reactions like this,
how dare you! Do you have any idea how much they've accomplished in their career? Kim Namjoon has more talent in a single toenail than you do in your entire pathetic existence, and you should be grateful you get to be alive at the same time as them. You don't deserve to breathe the air that they breathe, you disgusting piece of—
and have more cool shit like this. This is Cursed Comments. Disclaimer, this is only for educational purposes only. We are not promoting any bullying or witch hunts here. Come on, y'all. This ain't supposed to be tearing other people down. We're supposed to at least help each other in this forsaken world that is the SSO community. Hello everybody, my name is Moon and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to the second episode of Cursed Comment. Today, we're going to be focusing on how SSO typically responds to comments that are just trying to honestly give feedback. And we're going to see constant patterns. As always, we are going to go over the degrees of white knightism because we will be probably running into some white knights. It always does. So without further ado, let's get into the breakdown. As always, degree number 1, a person that blindly follows SSO with false beliefs, but they're still able to be a respectable human being. Degree 2, blindly follows SSO, but they are more passive-aggressive than the average person.
Here's an actual customer out here. What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Where are your parents?
Degree 3, the person's rude, but they are willing to listen to what you have to say, but they will still hammer their point of following and rarely become more respectful to SSO, aka they're the most average out of the bunch.
Rachel is so annoying. I heard you were talking shit about me. What the fuck?
Degree 4, a very rude person uses some of the reoccurring arguments with very little cooperation and actually having a discussion.
How would you like to eat corn on the cob with no fucking teeth?
And last but not least, degree 5, aka the most extreme and the most toxic, using every typical argument and disproven fact. And as always, they are very stubborn and actually wanting to listen to what you have to say, which usually leads to very toxic positivity and / or bullying remarks. God, we love them. Alright, now with that out of the way, let's get into the comments. We're getting new horses, new tag, an update to an old area with a quest, a new race, and an upgraded paddock? Oh my god, how awesome! This is going to be a great month. Thank you so much for your positive attitude and excitement for the update. Oh, that's so sad. Star Stable, hi there. Why do you seem to be ignoring players' constructive criticism? You seem to only reply to positive feedback. Yay! Somebody said something positive about SSO! Bruh, she been waiting. She been praying for someone to say something that's supposed to be too positive instead of something constructive. Wow. Yeah, because Instagram is not their place to answer to that criticism. If you have feedback, contact the support.
You were the clock that was ticking in my heart. Change my state of mind. When love's so hard to find.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. Well, it's their job though. I don't care if it isn't easy. This is literally what they learn to do. This is their profession. They should be able to provide us with good quests. If the quest lasts 10 minutes, you can't call it content. Not for a game this big. It's disappointing and nothing else. In my defense, It was 5 a.m. What does that have to do with the conversation? Then they should make one and stop focusing on horses. What do bugs have to do with the story writing? Alright, to also give a little context, because I think one of the comments did get cut off. I believe, from what I remember correctly, the person that's Tyra, she's basically justifying SSO's work ethic by saying, oh look guys, we got a quest. We got a quest, guys, look. We're just gonna pretend this is keys, but it's my pencil. Look guys, there's this fucking quest. There's the quest. Honey, that doesn't justify it, and let me tell you why. If we look at how SSO has been handling quests for the past few years, they have been inconsistent. Last year we got one main story quest. And now they're claiming that this is going to be more frequent. However, I don't think it's going to be more frequent as we think they are, considering how now it looks like they're making it frequent based on what we saw from the latest story quest, that they are rushing their plot. And honestly, that's a bit sad, to be honest with you. Secondly, the way SSO has decided to respond to this by saying, thank you so much for the positive attitude and excitement for the update. Here's the thing, people. You can't say that. And here's why. Because you can obviously say like thank you and all that sort of thing. But also this sort of comment just shows that they prioritize only looking at positive comments and honestly replying to them like a normal person. Because if you look at how they reply to constructive feedback, which is later on, they actually don't really give varied responses. They usually give a lot of copy-pasted responses, which you're about to see soon later on down the line. What does everyone in the comments think the team is doing when the updates have a little less content? Because I can guarantee everyone that nobody at SSE is slacking off. If updates are slow, it's only because there are other projects to work on in a limited amount of workforce. Yes, 250 employees. Such limited amount of workforce. Oh god, Star Stable. Limited amount of workforce for a company that made millions dollars just last year. Sure, me when I LMAO, this is such a lie. You make millions each year and yet still drag out updates over several weeks, and we haven't had a quest in 3 years. Okay, so this White Knight, the one that started this comment, I must put you as a first degree, and let me tell you why. You are very unaware of the stuff that's going on with SSO. I can see you think that we don't think that SSO works hard. Oh, we know SSO works hard. However, based on how much content they have put out this year, they're not putting in the effort to fulfill the content stuff. And this is why we are speaking out about this, because they're not putting in enough content, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I know you are very butthurt over the fact that we are giving constructive criticism that is not in the favor of SSO's updates. Let me ask you something. Do you think it's normal for an adventure game that highly talks about the fact that there is a horse adventure, meaning you go on quests and do activities with your horse, to have barely any quests every year? Do you think that is normal to have 1 to 3 quests ranging from 30 minutes or below, or just barely an hour? Do you think that's a good amount of gameplay to have fun in the game? And let me put this into perspective. If you're a newer player, then maybe you think this is normal. However, as an older player, this is not normal. SSO back then had a lot more quests, with quests that even came out almost every week. And that was with a smaller team, by the way. SSO has grown bigger. They have gotten more money. However, they chose to invest their money in places that are not relating to their tech depth or actual content. I guarantee you, if they were not so money hungry about pushing out a fucking horse breed every month, we would actually have content and balance with horses. You see, y'all don't realize that back then, horses were exciting to see trailers of. Now, every time we see a horse, it's just like, oh, it's another horse. We shouldn't have to feel like that. We should be able to get excited. However, based on how they're not really having a balance of content, it's like time management. They're not putting enough time into the right things. They're not having a balance with it. And that's why we're speaking up. Hey, SSO, are you listening to your community's concerns about the game and thinking about doing some about it? Almost everyone I know, though, oh god, these grammar errors. Almost everyone I know through the game have stopped. We're all eyes and ears. The game hasn't stopped in any shape or form, and more exciting things are on the way. We might even share more news about this soon. That sounds amazing. I really love this game. Oh god. The game is far from stopping. Most popular games out there at the moment have played quite a few and I have played quite a few, and none of them have anything on SSO. Keep doing what you're doing. I love all the changes been playing for a while now. Okay, so Isabella is not a white knight. She's just asking a genuine question, and she just took SSO's answer as validation. However, mom down here, she is actually, I would say, also as someone that's very unaware. I'm not categorizing as these two as white knights because they haven't really done any sort of maliciousness and intent. I would say they're more of they love SSO. However, I would like to put the importance of this is that, ladies and gents, please do not take SSO's word as if there's something from the gospel or something from the Bible. And what I mean by that is, please take their words as a grain of salt. This is what I also said with their blog post. Do not take their words as, oh, they're actually going to do something, because you don't know what they're going to do at this point. And this is just based on SSO's track record. This is why I advised to be like, okay, yeah, but don't fully think they're actually going to do it, because you never know what's going to happen. For SSO's case, they have shown constant time and time again where they promise stuff, but they don't actually end up doing it, either because they put more time into something else, or they just underestimated the time that something's not coming. And that's completely fine. However, don't think that SSO is always going to listen, because they really don't. It's obvious that they really only choose to do copy cutter responses to people with actual good feedback, or only really genuinely respond to people that are actually positive about the game's future, when in this case, we're being honest about the game's future, that we think it's not going to be able to go on for another 10 years. And it's just sad. It just bothers me that they think they're doing okay right now when they're not. Their community is falling apart. There's toxic areas of this community. I'm gonna give you an example of a game that actually realized that their community is very toxic. Overwatch. Overwatch had a lot of people very toxic, especially in the beginnings of their years. And they actually addressed the toxicity of their community. And they're aware that there's people that are just very toxic. SSO, they have not one time actually talk about the fact that her community is toxic. Y'all need to realize that your defenders, quote unquote, are very toxic. And I'm saying this to most of them, Most of your defenders are very toxic, and you need to state the facts and say, hey, it is not okay to deny other people's opinion if it's not positive, or if it's not agreeing with if our update was good today. It's okay to have negative feedback, and we will work on actually listening to both feedback. And they're clearly not doing that. And it just frustrates me, because people have been giving long ass paragraphs, said every single point, yet all we get is a cookie cutter response and nothing else. Are you calling this an update? You add a big nothing again. And you think we are paying for nothing? Hi! We're sorry if you feel disappointed. Both small and big updates are important to make the game better and more fun for our players. We do have updates every week, so remember that there is much more to come. If you missed yesterday's post, you can check it out to get an idea of what's brewing. Heart emojis. Too many small updates for no reason. This is a big problem. And here's the thing. Even though this comment is smaller, and I know some people expect like a huge ass paragraph each time, regardless if your comment's small or big, they're expressing an opinion and they're also giving back feedback. We're paying a lot for this game. People think that this game is cheap when it's not. It's only really cheap if you're doing a subscription, I guess. But they have their MMO priced as a AAA game, yet they have so little for the pricing of a AAA game. And mind you, back then, memberships were actually a little cheaper. Same with Star Coins. What the whole purpose of what my boy Harold's saying, Harold is just basically stating that the updates are very small. And because of that, it's not really bringing enough to the table for the players because we are consumers. We are the ones supporting the game with our money. And we expect a lot of content in return because they uphold this weekly updates every week. But if you can't put a bunch in a weekly update anymore, move to bi-weekly or bi-monthly or just monthly updates. All of those options will actually work. Y'all think, especially with some of the white knights, y'all think that we just want content every week when we just want long-term content. We're basically giving them options that if you're not able to put in enough in an update, move to monthly. And that way we actually get more content in each update and that it's much more to look forward to and not be like, oh, this is fucking boring. Now, yes, there's going to be people that are like, I don't want monthly updates. But considering how SSOs perform right now, I think they should move to monthly updates. I'm also fine with bi-weekly or bi-monthly, whichever they choose. Because at this point, SSO barely has anything. They usually have an update for just one thing, even when they have quests. Dear Star Stable, this update does not appear to be as it used to be. In the days, the whole server crashed. And now you want to put in a tiny update like this? No need. You want to pull the time. Not a month ago, we got new horses, the Appaloosa, in the game. And more are coming next week. Outrageous to me. I want a Valentine's Day update or events. I am sad. It's okay, brother. Well, you might get it back someday. But I honestly doubt it considering the route that they're trying to go with the events. Thank you for your feedback. The game tries hard to come out with updates for players every week, and sometimes some will be smaller than others so that we can prepare for the bigger updates, as well as other behind-the-scenes updates that are required. We always appreciate our players' patience, and we know that not every single update will be for every player. We also appreciate constructive feedback from our players and do pass it along to the team. Hopefully, you will enjoy some of the updates that we will have down the road. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday! So this is something that I've just never got about Star Stable. I understand that you want your events to be your guide, yet you've taken out events that have been in this game for a very long time and that people actually like doing because we at least have something to do and not wait with the amount of horses that we have every fucking month. Honestly, as always, this is another example of SSO using a copy-paste response. You will more than likely see this a lot, or something on the lines of where they claim that they thank us for our feedback, but they don't really apply it. Now, over the years with SSO, how did we know that they were going to go from a game that puts their all and manages to get a bunch of quests out in a lot of the months and not a whole fucking year? Back in the day, with a small team, they were able to have more quests. Yet with a big ass team, apparently they don't want to do that. Very fishy. Also, considering how we don't really have much in the game, we did get 2 updates that we are finally getting that should have been put in this game a very long time. On top of that, we just have way too much fucking horses in this game. Honestly, y'all, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think horses really have much value anymore in terms of if it's really worth getting star coins for. Yeah, you can save up for them if you want, but in terms of going to use your actual money to buy them, honestly, no. Considering how they're now just being pushed through every single week with almost back-to-back or within just a small week span of 3 to 4 weeks, that's not enough to save a horse. I honestly don't think SSO realizes the economy in their game because with the heavily inflated prices from the clothes to the horses, there's just way too much. Literally, you have to buy star coins if you want to get a whole entire set of clothes. And I'm very curious how much you would actually spend if you were to try to buy everything in the store. Which, if y'all want me to do that, I can gladly do that. Because I am very curious to see how much star coins you would actually need to spend in this game to get all of these fucking clothes. Dear Star Stable, I'm very disappointed about this quote-unquote update. I don't get it. Why only new little races and new horses are coming in the game? It's not really the same as before. Years ago, the game was so much better. Now it's so boring. Can we have more story quests and not horses? I think enough horses are in the game, or we would like to have new areas too. But still, this is disappointing that a race is a whole update. Some updates are smaller than others. It's good to remember that bigger the update, the more time it takes to create. Big and exciting content simply can't happen every week. That being said, we do have some bigger updates in the works. They will be on their way to players as soon as we feel they're ready.
Objection!
How did SSO manage to create more freaking big updates before then? Why is it different now? More employees equals less big updates? Here's the thing, Miss Star Stable. As we look at your responses, we can clearly see that now their responses are trying to defend that just because we don't have big updates, there should be smaller updates. Which, yes, guarantee that there's going to be smaller updates. However, your definition of big is not the same as everything else. You can't just put a race that can be completed in 5 minutes as an update. You gotta have more than that. There's been smaller updates that have more content than this, Miss Girl. That's all you added this week? This and the 2 previous weeks could have been added at the same time, so we could have had something more substantially added the last 2 weeks. Paddock procs that no one even uses? Thanks. If we got some horse XP for using them, I would be much more inclined to play with these props you guys keep adding, but no, you don't get horse XP for this. This is actually a very good fucking idea, because honestly, right now for paddock props, I feel like they're just mainly used for people's thumbnails or like people's roleplay, nothing else. This is actually giving an incentive to people that don't roleplay to actually use those fucking paddock props. Hi, we're sorry you feel disappointed. We really value your feedback and we will make sure to pass it to the rest of our team. Rest assured, there is much more to come. If you missed yesterday's post, you can check it out to get an idea of what's on the way. Alright, so with this copy-paste response, I feel like SSO is now going to be starting to use their blog posts as leverage to say that, look, we are doing something, but are you really? For example, for the past few blog posts that they have started to do for each month, we have gotten some screenshots of characters, which if y'all actually do want me to criticize some of them, I will gladly, because I do think for their character customization that I don't think they understand that body type does not equal having varied sizes of weight. There's different body types. And if you want to go into this more, I do recommend checking out Mia the Gamer's take on this. She does have some good points about the character customization that they're showcasing right now. Alright, so now that I feel like we have gone through enough comments discussing copy-pasted responses, I am going to throw in some other comments. Most importantly, I'm going to throw in a story comment of another lovely interaction that I had with this community. God, I love this community sometimes. Alright, story time, kids. So this happened, I believe, on the Burke here and Hanami update post, and basically, there's this comment that states, will we ever get more androgynous and masculine hairstyles for non-binary/male players? And then this person says, they've said it before, the game revolves around a female main character because so many other games only include males or make them the main character. So no, I don't think they're going to change that. They'd have to update all of the quests considering that they're too lazy to make new ones more than twice a year. I doubt they go to all that work, and from the spoilers they've released, it seems like they're only working on female characters. There are some short hairstyles though if people want to pretend like they're a male, I guess. Oh boy. I'm a woman and just got my hair shaved. I would like legit short hairstyles. And then this segues into my lovely comment that I have decided to post under this thread in a nice concisive paragraph. I state to the chicken wing person, but this is an MMO, not a single player PC game. If it was just a regular PC game, then it would count as a game with a set female character. But since this is an MMO, meaning people create their own character. Dear God, I got some grammar errors. SSO's the only MMO with gender limitations. Other MMOs let you do both genders, or if there's gender lock classes, they give equal amount. BDO. Guild Wars 2. I can keep going now. I can really keep going. Even now, there's more set female protagonist games since then. Example, Horizon Zero Dawn. We got a second Horizon Zero Dawn. I can once again pull out my recap thing from the documentary if you want, could. Honestly, in my opinion, boys and non-binary characters won't change the story because all they gotta do is change pronouns. And if they want, they can just say soul riders instead of sisterhood. But I can agree with you on one thing, that they are lazy due to neglecting their content heavily. Also, considering this game is supporting the LGBTQIA+ community and wanting inclusiveness, this isn't the way to go for gender inclusiveness. The best way to do this is to give equality for all genders instead of taking the others away. Again, this is how I see it, and you don't gotta agree with me since this is my opinion, and this is how I see it can be done. Now we then got another reply. If people want to pretend they're a male, do you not see how that is transphobic? People who are quote-unquote pretending to be men are men, and it's not your right to decide what someone's gender is as someone who is gender fluid, which means I identify with being masculine, feminine, and androgynous. I've always been disappointed in the short hair selections in this game. It wouldn't be that hard for this game to be inclusive to all genders, by claiming that this is a girls' game is sexist, and for some reason SSO just won't understand that. Which Dakota does have a point that, for one, what Miss Girl just said, it is transphobic what she just said, and it can't be taken the wrong way. And second, SSO should consider the fact that this isn't a girl's game. By saying it's a girl's game, you're being sexist. Dude, they're talking about in the game. Oh, Jesus. There are no boy characters in the game, but you can get a short haircut and masculine clothes to pretend your character is a boy, which that can be kind of perceived as the same way, but also I kind of feel like some dudes also felt like they just have no choice but to be female when it comes to this game, and kind of just give up on it. Some dudes have stated that at this point they just give up, that they're not going to be male, which I do find sad. However, I do believe that SSO should consider that we should have male characters and non-binary characters. Just saying. And then Star still says, who knows what hairstyles the character update will bring in the future? Heart emoji. Oh, Jesus. And then since this then starts a whole other road. But first, there is some nice things that some people have agreed with me on. Agreed. It's important to keep in mind that games such as Red Dead Redemption 2 have a main single-player game in which you play as exclusively male characters. In the multiplayer add-on included in the game, however, you can happily choose to play a female character. 1. They ain't being transphobic. They're talking about the in-game character and how it's a girl. But if you want, you can say and think your character as a boy. If you have a problem with that, then that's on you. 2. Did you not read why SSO was made and why it targets girls? It's because the gaming industry is male dominant, so SSO was made to empower girls since they aren't represented often. Besides, Astride is coming out early access this fall. At least there will be a horse game with male, female, non-binary avatars. Now here's the problem that I have with this second part of the comment. So, SSO claims they are empowering girls, but are they really? No. And here's why. Here's the thing. If SSO is trying to empower women, wouldn't they make contributions to fundraisers that adequately speak up about the importance of women's rights? If they're trying to empower women, how come they haven't shown that by trying to make women feel worthy? That's how you empower women. You're able to give back by showing them that they are still beautiful in every way, shape, or form. And I feel like SSO has not done that. Once again, I have stated this in my documentary. I honestly think that we're in a white male-dominated world. Not strictly male, because we still have people of color getting affected in the real world. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the gaming industry, I honestly feel like now in the gaming industry that there is actually more female protagonist games than back in the day. We have grown over time, and we have shown that we are able to acknowledge women characters. Yes, we still have those few games that sexualize us or objectify us, but that doesn't mean we have made a huge improvement for females in games. However, by saying that they're only going to have a target audience of girls is a bit of a hypocrite, because there's actually a lot of people in this community that are non-binary, male, etc. Just because your target audience is girls doesn't mean it's only going to attract girls. Look at My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. That show was strictly targeted to younger girls. However, it caught the attention of all ages, especially older dudes, which later created the brony community. And what did Hasbro do? They acknowledged that, hey, we actually have more than our target audience, and welcomes them, because that's what you do as a company. You see, oh wow, more people outside of our target audience is checking out our product. We should acknowledge it. Does SSO acknowledge that? No, the fuck they don't. They only acknowledge the female side. I can also bring up the fact that, one, with the Rainbow event, they only acknowledge the sexualities that women can be, but not what men can be. So, they don't have the gay MLM bow, which is another example of they should really acknowledge dudes that are actually in this game, as well as the non-binary people. And honestly, as I said before, they don't really write their LGBTQ characters that well. They really don't. And then here is where the utmost shit starts to go the fuck down. This person then thought this was a brilliant idea to say to me, "It is a single player game."
Yeah, hello, 911?
We are all playing the exact same character, plus doing the exact same quest. Yes, we can interact with other players, but they are not part of the story quest game that we all work through. Oh. Y'all, when I tell you this is probably one of the stupidest comments I've ever read, it is probably, if not the most stupidest comment I have ever heard. Oh, sweetie. Honey, you say this is a fucking single player game, yet they advertise it as an online MMO. Oh god. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest here. When I saw it, I was like, did this bitch really think that this is a single player game? Bitch. And then said, oh really? Then why do we have online features in this game then that include a chat, clubs, friends list? Do you want me to go on further? Oh, also forgot to add that we have group races, such as the group ones in Silverglade and Chance, so I don't see how it's single player when SSO's advertised as an MMO. And don't forget that the fact that you make an account with your email like all MMOs with a password. So, what happens after that? Did this bitch manage to reply? No. This bitch just decides to block me and run away. Once again, as always, I'm not really bothered by this. It's just that I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that this bitch really thought that SSO's a single player game. But there's online functions. Oh, Jesus. Now, as for what happened with the rest of this combo, the chicken girl, she did see my comment and she actually agreed with some of my points, and she actually does agree that there should be male non-binary characters. And then she also reiterates her point of what she was trying to say, just so it doesn't come off as transphobic. And then people reconciled, and then the person actually did speak out that they just in the past have experienced people telling them that they're just pretending to be another gender when they're not, which I actually find very fucking sad. Here's the thing, this is just a little bit of an etiquette. If somebody's transitioning to another gender, don't fucking misgender them or call them the previous gender that they were before. In my opinion, that's probably one of the most disrespectful things that you can say to them. Don't do that. Just don't. If they're a boy, they're a boy. If they're a girl, they're a girl. If they're non-binary, they're non-binary. If they're gender fluid, they're gender fluid. There you go. So, the white knight that I have encountered in this situation There's actually technically 2 because of the Miss Chin girl, because she is a little bit of a white knight, but she did show her reasoning that she does actually agree with some points. So I'm gonna say she's at least a 1, the chicken girl. The bitch that said this was a single player game, ooh lord, that is a degree 5. That's a degree 5 if I've ever seen one. Miss Girl, you really think you're going to shut me up by saying this is a single player game? You're talking to someone that's played this game for years, mate. Honestly, y'all, I'm very curious. Do y'all think this is a single player game? Did y'all really think this was a single player game? Cause if you do, I'm gonna smack you upside the forehead because it was advertised as an MMO now. Alright, enough with this stupidity. We're gonna go on to the next comment. So bad. Make better then, winky face. Ooh, Jesus. Just an opinion. Yeah, opinion. But that's not still nice say that. They work for them, so think about it. What is opinion on this point? Smiley face. If it isn't that bad thing, then don't answer me like that. Please redo a basic English class. Oh, Jesus. No, wouldn't it be bad so other people can actually understand what you want to say? I think you understand what I meant. Nope. Cool, then you don't. Okay, White Knight. Are you that mad because you call me that? Oh, God. Please take a class in kindness. I understand her. Maybe you should know more before you say something like that. Winky face. You are the bad one, lol. Talking a person who just says these pixel horses are bad to make better ones. That's like even more rude than I am. And I am German low. Okay. What was this conversation? Alright, I'm gonna say that the 2 people at KHTM that one a question, I'm gonna say those 2 are degree 2 because they are using the art of passive aggressive but in a rude way. Although I feel like Oz could have handled this better by saying that, well, I don't really like this horse because of this and this. Because I believe this was still under the Hanami and Berkir update post, and in general for the White Knights. Y'all, you really think that the best thing to say if someone thinks that a horse is bad to say, make it better then? Oh, Jesus. Also, the grammar. Equally, there's a lot of grammar. Now, for the person that busted in, here's the thing. I feel like I can understand why they jumped in by saying please take a class in kindness, but you have to understand that they were both, honestly, all 3 of them were being passive aggressive towards each other. However, I feel like at the same time, there's different ways it's being handled. For starters, with the 2 White Knights, they were using it in a rude way. Whereas Alex, I felt like that person was just trying to defend themselves by saying that it's my opinion. You just need to respect it. However, I feel like due to the inadequate explanation on both sides, it just turned into this. Which, okay. I'd like to see what y'all think about this situation. Do you think Alex should have apologized, or do you think the 2 White Knights are at fault? Leave your thoughts down below if you want, or if you are indifferent, by all means, that is okay as well. Alright, so this will be the last comment we're going to be reading, and then we'll get into the relief comment of the day. They're pretty, but they look pretty much the same as the original horses they're inspired by. I'm not trying to be rude, but why not just bring back the old ones since they look almost the same? Just different breeds and probably different non-magical codes. Cause the Lusitano ones wear one time only. Where? Oh, Jesus, the grammar error. For the 2019 Midsummer event. And SOS says they don't want to break the promise of those being one time only. I know that, but why make it a one-time horse if people are going to want it, like if the birthday horse was the only 10th birthday thing and a one-time horse? That's understandable, but why the originals? And there's been multiple times where SSO hasn't kept their promises, which is the truth. So for starters, I will do more comments next time on what people thought about Hanami and Burke here, cause, ooh lord. For starters, I'm gonna give my opinions. For the remake of the Bark Heart, I despise them. I am not putting my money to those. Don't get me wrong. I love Marwaris and I love Perchons, but this ain't it, Chief. Burke here. Who put that brown moorland tree bark with the birch bark? That does not go together. On top of that, the bright blue eyes stand out significantly. They kind of work with the normal coat, but and also for the mane. Compared to the original, beautiful, gorgeous horse, the one that I don't have, the birch leaves are nicely spread out, as in they don't look like it's overloading the texture. As with the remake, that's too much fucking greenery. It just looks like it just trudged through some sewage or the mud from My Little Pony. Oh god, this is where I'm gonna start roasting it. Well, you know I'm gonna start roasting it because I don't really like it that much. Or I can roast it, but I can slightly like it. Alright, as for the fucking Hanami, oh Jesus Christ. Y'all, this is the ugliest. This might be the ugliest magic horse that I've ever seen. And this is sad. You know what's sad about these two? They never had a magical horse breed until now. And yet they debuted them with this. Why a perch-on? Here's the thing. When you think of a cherry blossom tree, it's elegant, nice, beautiful. You just want to stare and look at it for a bit as the cherry blossoms pass by that you see in like Japan or some other shit. And they chose a perch-on. Once again, I love the perch-ons in this game, but a tree does not fit a perch-on. It would fit more of something that's more elegant but strong. This does not fit. This don't work. Now let me just fucking dive into how they did with this texture. Who decided on this beef jerky Minecraft looking bark texture? This is ugly. It is not. It's way too dark compared to the cherry blossom horse, the Lusitano that I have. Let's look at the Lusitano just for some relief for a second. Then we'll dive back into whatever the clusterfuck they decided to create. It's nice, beautiful, elegant, beauty, grace. Baby, it's Maybelline. You get the point. As you can tell, it fits perfectly with the pink in its hair, with the flowers, and also it's very fucking gorgeous. This! What the fuck? Let's start with the mane. The pink just stands out. It really does. It just doesn't work with the perch-on's mane. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. Why? Why? And then let's look at the legs. Who put this evergreen fauna algae from my intro to biology 2 class on this horse and said, yeah, this definitely resembles a cherry blossom tree. Y'all, let me be honest. Where on a cherry blossom tree has green leaves? Where? Oh god. Now that we got my roasting out of the way, god. For starters, one, I honestly think, in terms of the opinion on whether or not they should bring back the bark hearts, honestly, I think they should. I'm okay with them coming back. However, I feel like in order to actually have value with these magical horses, they shouldn't be coming out so frequent. They should come out at least once in a year or once after a while at least. For starters, when you're remaking a horse, you have to be able to exceed that expectation that these are better than the old ones, and they're not. I'm sorry, y'all, they're not. Their magical coats are very fucking ugly. This might be the worst magical horse, which is sad, in to say the least. They have nice normal coats, but as I said, with the eyes, it just stands out. Now, with the argument of saying that they're trying to keep a promise, really? Look at the other magical horses that they've re-released. Honestly, when you look at the other magical horse breeds, they give off the same message that they're not going to come back. Regardless if they say they will never come back to Jorvik, they literally said they're leaving Jorvik, meaning they ain't gonna come back. And when you return those, they lose the value. And I feel like if they're trying to make them rare, they should have come back in a later time, but not so frequent. We are now into an age where we're now seeing that they're trying to re-release magical horse breeds that are older again and again. Because if we look at the Windfells and the first magical horses ever, they are still a little bit more rare because, one, they at least have a more balanced out release schedule than all the others. Second, I find it once again very hypocritical that they claim they want to keep this promise of making their magical horses rare, yet they release all the other ones. Honestly, just release them, and if you want to make them rare, back. Also, I do like to say that they do not have any legal issues. They have said this multiple times that they don't have any legal issues or copyright issues. They own these horses, meaning they can release them if they want to. However, they think that because of the fact that they've released them by saying that they don't want them to come back, the people would get upset. Which I do believe that some people will get upset about this. However, I do think if they, for the sake of how they should bring them back, they should be like, after a popular demand, this product has returned. This is very common in stuff like restaurants where they have a popular dish that is for a limited time, but then they're like, oh, we have a lot of popular sales of this, let's make this a return. That's an example. If there was such a huge demand for a horse to return, they should put it in the game. Literally, there's been a huge demand for these horses, and to give a very shitty copy in return to say, here, have this instead. Do you think that really satisfies them? To some, yeah. But honestly, this ain't really a good magical horse. This is definitely one of the worst magical horses in this game, and I stand by that opinion. Alright, now that we have gone through the more depressing arguments of the comment section that is SSO, let's dive into the relief comment of the day. The relief comment of the day is Elise Sunflower, and she says, I would not like more magical horses. I would like game content, lore, and more things to do in game that are not just busy work quests. The horses in game are losing their spark as time goes on, and too many are being created and distributed all at once. As a consumer, it is overwhelming and quite frankly annoying. I wish to see more life brought the horses and characters by the previous wishes stated above. At this point, it feels like more like a horse riding simulator and not full game with a story and purpose like it was once advertised. If you could consider making a book with the new updated lore, because we all know that, no offense, you cannot make up your mind and have changed the story many times and give us sneak peeks into the heart of the game, not just the cosmetic horse aspect. It would help restore the interest, respect, and fun for many players who have been your long-time supporters. Thank you. And I feel like Elise is definitely right in this situation. SSO! I hate to break it to you, Miss Girl, as I've stated probably a few times. The story is shit at this point with the amount of plot holes, and you keep making decisions that are not based off of the characters that you have built on for years, since 2005 or so, however long you've done this franchise at least. A very long time, by the way. For example, you've changed Lisa from the punk rock badass that she was with her star magic besides healing and is actually able to attack, to country girl I love. What? And don't forget, we still haven't forgotten about what you did to the Dark Riders, cause the only saving grace out of all of those is Kaja. Everyone else, what the fuck decisions are these? You need to realize that you are not sticking with your lore. You are changing it over and over to the point where people have gotten confused, to the point where people have to make recaps like myself to help others understand the clusterfuck of the story they have decided to shove in. How we go from having an actual consistent mission to rush story pacing, characters changing to a whole new character that people from the older generation in the SSL community are not familiar with, to changing how certain quests were, taking out certain quests, and so forth. If you are going to write a story for an MMO, you need to stick with the older quests, as in you need to be able to do recall of, hey, remember we do this. They have to all flow together. And honestly, if I look at this whole storyline that we have done so far, from the minute we stepped into SSL, meaning just into what we just got with On, this story doesn't flow. It really doesn't. It's all over the fucking place. And considering what we do in the quest, this is just going to be a slight rant here. You just drag out stuff nowadays to consider that this is supposed to be a long quest when it's not. It really isn't. And you just dragging it out doesn't help make it a good gaming experience. I think what SSO needs to do for the story is that they need to look at how the story flows and see that there's plot hole within plot hole within plot hole, and how you compare them to what they were in Starshine Legacy and consider, are they really the same as they were before? Because one of you all really asked who the fuck was Lisa and decided to make her a country girl compared to what she was in Star Academy and Starshine Legacy. Y'all need to really go back and look at your characters, because they aren't what they were before, and this makes it hard for people to actually relate to. You need to work on your story, man. Goddamn. And with that being said, this has concluded another comment reading section. So for starters, I hope y'all enjoy this, and I also hope that the voices were better in terms of making sure they don't sound like an annoying Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse, however the fuck they were last episode. But yeah, I feel like regardless, I'm gonna still keep going with this series. So yeah, I also apologize that this hasn't come out. College has been kicking my ass, y'all. It really has. Alright, with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!